pause, and then let me go into NeuroBuzz. I think we are live. I think we are live everywhere. Good morning, everybody. How are you this very crisp December morning? I know that at the minute, there's not a lot happening on social media. Algorithms are dead. No traction on your posts, not a lot happening. If you've got a product business, you know it's a busy time of the year for you and people are distracted. So I thought I would jump on this morning and just talk about Christmas and give you a little bit of food for thought for Christmas. So I've got my cup of tea. I hope you're comfortable. And I thought it would be great to share what happens at Christmas here in Creative Genius HQ and how Christmas has impacted me over the years. I've had some pretty big and pretty traumatic events happen around the Christmas period that drive me forward constantly. And I wanted to share that in the form of a bit of a story today, rather than giving you business advice at this time of year where everybody's starting to relax a little bit. And I know that that's happening. I've seen it a lot in my clients. I've seen it a lot in the people that are around me. So settle in to your chair, get comfortable and listen up. So for those of you that don't know me, I'm Mandy Nicholson and I am the Creative Genius Consultant. I'm an artist and an author and a creative retreat owner in Scotland. And I help creative women to launch, grow and scale their businesses and make more money. And I want to start this story with how grateful I am, how incredibly grateful I am for the life that I have created. And I only have me to thank for that, but I can't tell you what it feels like to live the life of your dreams every single day, to do what you love, to be able to spend money on those that you love, to be able to help those that you love. It's incredible. And I'll tell you a little bit more about that in a minute, but it wasn't always this way for me. I have always been very successful. I was a very successful store manager and divisional executive in retail for many, many years with three major brands, Summerfield, IKEA and B&Q Warehouse. And it was during one of those times I was with IKEA as store manager commercial in the big blue box in Gateshead. And something happened. A series of unfortunate events happened. This is 2009, and Christmas that year was really, really pivotal for me. And Christmas again after that was really pivotal for me. I thought that 2009 was the worst year of my life. It had been pretty horrendous. In the March of that year, I'd had a car crash, which had triggered a series of unfortunate events. One after the other, major life-altering events, not small events, major life-altering events. The car crash left me severely injured and off work for several months, which resulted in me not being at work. Means you're not useful anymore, you're not helping anybody, you're not doing your job. And it ended up in me being let go from my six-figure job that had taken me decades to reach that pivotal point in my career. But when you're not there, you're not there. And I thought I'd been quite savvy with that. They were paying me off, reducing the management structure. And I'd negotiated a pretty good severance package of a year's salary. So I thought I've got a year to make a decision as to what I want to do with my life. So there's no rush. I can recover whilst using my brain and thinking. And I started doing some studying. I already had 4 coaching qualifications. I did another 3. I was reading The Secret. I was getting into manifestation, changing my life. But I didn't know what was coming. And what came was this series of unfortunate events. My dad was diagnosed with cancer and died 47 days later. My husband had been having an affair, which I discovered because I was at home. So my marriage broke down. My son was diagnosed with autism. My sister and I were in a pub together, and she had been struggling with her mental health and had got into so much debt that I ended up bankrupt. Both of us ended up bankrupt, penniless, and they took all of that severance package that I'd negotiated, all of my savings, all of my money, because the debt was nigh on £100,000. And I had to sacrifice everything I had. And I had nothing but a car worth £750. I was then on benefits. I was a single mum. I'd lost my husband. My dad had died. And that was 2009 for me. And it was coming up to Christmas, and I was selling stuff on eBay to make enough money to buy the kids Christmas presents because I was brassic. I'd lost everything. And on Christmas Eve, my landlord, I was renting a beautiful farmhouse, old farmhouse in the middle of nowhere, absolutely stunning. And he came and knocked on my door on Christmas Eve with a Christmas hamper and gave me notice to move out. He wanted the house for a Christian community, and he made me homeless on Christmas Eve. Gave me, I think it was 60 days to get out. So 2009 couldn't really have got any worse for me. So I had a choice at that point, didn't I? So this is what I'm saying. Christmas has been quite pivotal for me because something dramatic has happened on more than one Christmas. So I moved into a council house in February 2010. I started working with Jack Canfield and Bob Proctor. I started thinking about how I could make money to provide for the kids. I couldn't be a store manager earning six figures with a company car anymore because I was now a single mum. I needed to put the kids first. They just lost their dad and their granddad, the house that they loved. It was a traumatic time for them, and I had to put them first. That was my job as a mum. My job just became the most important job in the world, and all the other jobs paled into nothing because they were meaningless compared to this job of looking after these two children and making sure that they were emotionally stable, both of them on the spectrum, both of them with their own difficulties. So I created businesses, created a cleaning business, first of all, created businesses that would fit around me being able to do school runs and dance runs and karate and still feed them and pay for the council house that I now had. So my life changed dramatically in the space of 12 months. And I tell this story often because it was the year that made me what I am today. It made me strong. It made me resilient. And kind of, I could say the rest is history, but it isn't. That was 2010. I was on my own for 3 years. And then in 2013, I met the man that would become the love of my life and my soulmate, Gary, who I would marry. But, you know, it was conditional because he had a life-limiting condition and we didn't know how much time we had together. But we had 7 amazing years. And in those 7 years, he was my rock and he supported me 100%. And I ended up with 2 or 3 different businesses. And then in 2019, I launched my creative business with him at the back of me saying, you can do this. Just do it. You know you're good. You can do it. So the importance of people around this time of year, you know, some of us roll our eyes when family are coming round or, you know, thinking about the festive season, which can be lonely or difficult. And believe me, if something awful is going to happen, it's going to happen around the festive season. I can tell you now, because that's happened to me at least once. But in 2019, I launched this business that I love so much and I'm so grateful for with my creative mastermind. I bought our dream home for cash in the October of 2019, and I published my book, The Life I Won. It was a really huge and pivotal year. I am so grateful that I was able to do all of those things while Gary was alive, and he was able to see me reach that sort of pivotal level of success. For me, working for myself, publishing a book, buying a house for cash, and us being secure as a family. And that Christmas, 2019, so if you think 2009 was the year I lost everything and ended up being made homeless, 10 years later, 2019, we'd been out and bought the most expensive Christmas tree for our brand new home. It was beautiful. We spent a fortune on it and we decorated it and I put it up that year. And Gary said to me, I won't see that again. And I said, what are you talking about? And he said, I'll never see that tree again. He knew his time was coming and I was not with him on that. I was not accepting of that. And obviously 2020 hit us and COVID hit us. And in April, at the end of March, actually, 2020, Gary went for his kidney dialysis and was taken to hospital, blue lighted to the Freeman Hospital. And I never saw him again until 3 days before he died. He spent a month in the hospital and he died on the 29th of April. So he was right. He did not see that Christmas tree again. So Christmas 2020, we could not put that Christmas tree up. Me and the kids were grieving, and that Christmas tree stayed in its box, and we ate pizza and dips around the coffee table in the living room with the dogs because we didn't even want to sit at the Christmas table with a place missing. So we've had a couple of very difficult Christmases. If you think in that decade, I was made homeless on one Christmas and I'd lost my husband and really struggled in 2020, but it's 2024 now and we're heading to Christmas. And it was March 2021, I made the decision that Gary would be so proud of to put the house on the market and to move to Scotland and to create the life I truly dreamed of, to use the assets that I had, the cash that was in the house. And I ended up, the universe put in front of me what I needed. The Art Bank, which was an old almost derelict bank that I've renovated beautifully and now run creative retreats from. And I have my amazing creative mastermind and creative businesses, my retreats, I do B&B, and Christmas 2024, I have just emailed the business plans and the cash flow to the bank manager to purchase the property that's attached to this building that was a former salon that I'm going to convert into 2 holiday lets. So the reason I'm telling this story is it doesn't matter really how far down you go. And I've been pretty low over the last sort of 15 years. We're going into 2025 now. If you think back, 2009, I lost everything. It's 15 years. And in those 15 years, I've been bankrupt. I've lost everything. I've been made homeless. I've lost my amazing husband. I've also been really wealthy and bought my dream home for cash and, been able to launch the business of my dreams and published more than one book. We've just published Beyond the Ordinary this year. We're going to be launching a podcast on the 23rd of December for Beyond the Ordinary with the amazing Kath Lloyd-Jones. And it's exciting. Life is exciting. And that's why I started this live with, I am so grateful for what I have, for the life I have. And now I've just had an amazing weekend in Edinburgh with my daughter. We've spent, 3 days together. We've eaten at the Witchery and, spent £200 on one lunch. And we've been around the Christmas markets, around the museum. We've been in all the vintage shops. We've just had an amazing time. And I didn't have to think about the cost of that. I've also just sent my daughter home in my old car because I've just bought a new car, and being able to not only give her my car, but have it serviced and MOT'd and put new tires on. So it's gone in absolute perfect condition. And I've paid for a year's insurance for her and gifted her that. And also just about to give her £10,000 towards a deposit for a house. I'm grateful, so grateful that I've created a life that has enabled me to do that, to do all of those things. When you think 15 years ago, I was bankrupt and I literally didn't have a penny. I had a £750 car. I've now got a 30 grand car sitting outside the front of my house. And I'm not a car person. I don't care about cars. Doesn't matter to me what kind of car I have. I held on to my little Nissan Note because it was the last thing Gary bought me before he died. And I've held on to it for 4 years, and I've let it go to my daughter now, which he would be delighted about. And I think it's, we're coming up to Christmas. We have to think about, I could have, if I didn't have the ability to see how important investing in yourself is, the knowledge and experience I had from retail, even though I lost my job from there, the knowledge and experience that job gave me enabled me to build businesses, to find solutions to the problems that I was facing. And life is a series of problems that need solutions. You don't always have the answer, but somebody around you will. And this is why it's so important to think about, wherever you are now, you don't have to stay there. You've got a choice. You can change that at any time. And I could have chosen to stay in grief. I could have chosen to stay at rock bottom. I could have chosen to stay in grief. I did not choose to. It wasn't easy. Believe me, it's very easy telling a story about it. It's harder for you to understand the pain of sitting there that Christmas in 2020, not able to put the Christmas tree up and not able to even cook a Christmas dinner because somebody was missing. That Christmas that we were made homeless and not telling the kids, accepting the hamper from my landlord gratefully, and then being told I was being made homeless, and then looking at my two children and thinking, I can't be upset about this. I've got to find a solution. So if you're struggling in your business, or if you're struggling to make money, or if you're struggling with anything at the minute, there's millions of opportunities out there. You can change that trajectory anytime you choose. I know because I've done it. I know because I've done it. And in January 2020, I am going to be doing my 5-day challenge, which I haven't done since last January. So it's back for January 2020 and July 2020. But that's the last 2 5-day challenges I'm doing because I'm choosing to retire my coaching business, not my retreat business and not my bed and breakfast and not my property business that I'm about to move into. But you're going to see a lot of copy over the next few weeks, inviting you to join my penultimate 5-day challenge. The link is in the description. If you want to join, get yourself signed up. It starts the 20th of January. And it's the last 2 intakes I'm going to have for the Creative Mastermind, this business that served me so well and enabled me to create the life that I love and work with amazing creative clients who have all changed my life a little bit, all of them. I've loved working with every single creative client, and a lot of them are now really successful in their businesses. They're all out there doing something they wouldn't have done before because they made the decision to come and join me on the mastermind. And I've got the best sign-up offer ever that I've ever done. It's my retirement gift to the world. So this isn't a sell any live today. I'm not, if you want to join the 5-day challenge, join. You have to join to get in on the offer because it's the best offer ever. And I can't reiterate that enough. But this was about wherever you're at. I know it's coming up for Christmas and it can be a tough time for people. It can also be a joyous and wonderful time. And these days I choose to put up that Christmas tree that Gary and I bought together and lovingly decorate it and celebrate him and set his place at the Christmas table and honor him. And we talk about him and we think about him and we talk about the times in Felton, in that farmhouse that we lived in that we love so much, and how we had to say goodbye to that and move into a council house. And we talk about the amazing Christmases we've had there in that little council house that I could hardly fit a tree in the living room in, but we did every year. And Christmas is a time for reflection and gratitude and thought. But 2025 is looming. And do you want to choose to have the best year so far of your life, of your business, whatever it is? Because you have that choice available to you today. I've chosen it many times and I'm choosing a slightly different direction in 2025. I'm choosing to do something quite big, choosing to do something that my accountant is going to go, what the hell are you thinking, Mandy? But it doesn't matter because I choose to be joyous in what I do. And I choose to create time to spend with those 2 children that are the most important things in my life. And I'm sure that your family is equally as important to you. No idea what that ping was, but I'm sure I'll find out very soon. So please join me on my penultimate 5-day challenge in January and find out what the offer is on the mastermind. Know that you have a choice. Know that some of us have been to the bottom and back up again, really down to the bottom and back up again. And that we've lost people that are so meaningful to us that it was so difficult to deal with, and still come back from that. Wherever you are, you can come back from it, and you can make a choice to do something different. to change the trajectory of your life. And I'm living proof of that. So this is my last live now until the new year. I wish you all a really wonderful Christmas and New Year. And I wish you all the best choices and the best decisions that you will ever make in your life. Enjoy your family. Be grateful for what you have, no matter where you are. And I will see you in 2025. Thank you for watching.